Hi there. I would say welcome to Ruth's art room, but we're in my kitchen today. That's because we're going to use the blender and we're going to make paper. I made these yesterday and they have flower petals and leaves and all kinds of yummy ingredients in them. And as much as I do like these, I kind of like this thinner piece even better. These are pretty thick, and they're very usable, don't get me wrong, but I want to try and make them a little thinner, maybe not quite this thin because it falls apart. But there's very few things that you need to have. One of them I made out of a cake pan, 8-inch square cake pan. You can see that there's still some remnants of yesterday in here. That's okay. Peels right out. Anyway, what we did is we cut the bottom off. I cut the bottom off. Don't know who this we is, but it's part of that they. Anyway, cut the bottom out. And I used an X-Acto knife, or no, actually I used a utility knife, but it cuts really easy, so if you just puncture it, you can use scissors and cut that out. And then I got a piece of 8-inch screen from the hardware store. You can buy screen by the foot for about, this was $1.49 a foot. And just got a message that was a little confusing. Anyway, so I just cut out an 8-inch and I used duct tape to tape it in. Okay, so this is going to be, I think this might be called a decal. I'm not sure. But this is a lasagna pan that I got from the dollar store. And you just need to make sure that your decal fits inside of your pan. Because we're going to put water in this. Then we're going to make a slurry out of paper, pre-existing paper, and water, and pour into the lasagna pan. Okay, and now I bought this at the dollar store. It was only $1. And I did this yesterday with purple tissue paper, and it did not take much at all. So, in fact, I think what I did is I folded it to where you could see both the light and the dark, and I literally just ripped maybe about 2 inches, and that's all I used. So I have plenty to use for another session. So I'm just going to rip this up. It doesn't matter what size. The ultimate goal is to fit it inside your blender. Okay? Alright, so this all fits in here. One way of doing it is to soak the paper first, and you can certainly do that. I also found, though, that you don't have to, so I'm just going to shove it in here, and I'm going to fill it up about halfway. There's no rule about how much water. Paper can only absorb so much, so you don't have to worry about it. Alright, that's pretty good. And then I'm going to put this on. And it is going to be noisy because I've noticed there's no pause button when I'm recording through YouTube. Yay. I think we need a pause. There it is. And just hold your ears for a minute. So that was about 10 seconds, and I'm looking at it basically to see if there's any large chunks left. And since it was tissue paper, it dissolves pretty darn easily. Now, I am going to do one other thing. This is a piece of gift wrap paper, and as you can kind of see, it's got a shiny finish. Not ideal for doing this to be the base color, because what happens is the part that's glossy and waxy does not get torn up all the way, or chewed up, whatever. Let me show you one. Okay, see the little dark bits in it that look like flower petals or leaves? That's that paper. So I'll show you what happens, and it makes a really nice finish. Nobody knows what it is. We're going to do 5 seconds, maybe 7. Okay, what are you doing here with me today? Get on. There we go. Okay, we're going to count to 5. Maybe 5 more. All right. Because now I can see little bits of blue floating around in it. Okay. Now I'm going to try this a little different. Instead of filling this up with water, since this is the first pour, I'm going to try, first of all right, here's a little bit that got wound around the top. We just take that out and take out the blades. All right, I'm going to try and just pour. I don't know if you can see the little bits. Whoops, floating there. I just poured it out on the other tissue paper. Good job. All right, so I'm going to kind of pour it back and forth and try to cover the whole screen. Maybe I'll just set this down. All right, but I didn't want to pour too much. Oh, let's see if I can even it out. Once you start touching it with your hands, you start making big holes. I mean, it just kind of groups the paper up, and you just have to. It's better to just kind of shake it. And that shook it a little too much, so. All right, so I'm gonna give up that and just kind of keep pouring. And that's gonna make a really thick piece of paper. So I'm gonna dump it out. Move this around with my fingers. This is when you want to add little bits of flower petals or things like that. And I'm gonna try and scoop up. And that's why you want enough water in here, and I don't think there is. You want it to float in the water so that you can get under it and scoop it up. So I'm going to try and get under it. There just wasn't enough room to get under it. And what I did yesterday too is I took a glass and started pouring some of it in. Okay, there. Once you see that you have a nice even coat, that's what you're looking for. And you don't want to dump it upside down right away, but I wanted to get most of the water out. All right, so the trick now is I use washcloths and lay it on top of it. And you know, I thought about this last night, and it might be a good idea because you don't want to take this out onto the counter. Remember, the bottom is a screen, but you want to press this and try and get more water out. So I'm going to take a plate. See how that works. And I'm going to set it on the plate and push. If you push with your hand, it will peel up. That's why I'm using the cloth. Alright, I think it did push some out. Doesn't look like a lot. But we're going to do a second pressing, and I'll show you how that works. We're going to take this, leaving the cloth, and we're going to flip it upside down. And if you flip it firm enough, the whole paper, most of the paper, comes out of the decal. Okay, I have a little corner, left in here. And the nice part about it is you can just stick it on and sort of, like when you're doing with a cake that broke, you just kind of mush the pieces up together so you don't have any holes. Okay, now I'm going to take the second one and just press it on top, and that's absorbing some more of the water. Look how wet it's getting. Hopefully you can see that. And the more you can get out, the quicker it will dry. Because all that's left now is to wait for it to dry. That is it. And if you use a dishcloth that has a nice waffle weave to it, it will add a texture like this one. Can you see that texture on the purple? Pretty cool, huh? So that's it. That's how you make paper. You let it dry. Might take all day for it to dry. I put it out in the sun. That sped it up a little bit. The problem with that is once it starts getting about half dry, it's light enough for the wind to chase it across. So, this is Ruth. And if you liked this video, please press the thumbs up. If you didn't, I'm sorry. But you can press the thumbs down and maybe hit subscribe so that you can see the next videos. By the way, subscribe does not mean you're going to send me any money. It just means that you want to see more of my videos. And if you hit the little bell, then it will notify you when the next new one is out. Thanks for joining us.